Introduction to Networks, CCNA version 7. ITN Practice Skills Assessment Packet Tracer. You will configure devices in an IPv4 IPv6 network. All iOS device configurations should be completed from a direct terminal connection to the device console. Requirements by device: Town Hall router, this router, administration switch, this switch, administration switch. Complete this addressing table. Okay, step 1. Determine the IP addressing scheme. Design an IPv4 addressing scheme and complete the addressing table based on the following requirements. Subnet the 192.168.1.0.24 prefix network to provide 30 host addresses per subnet while wasting the fewest addresses. Okay, this network 192.168.1.0 prefix 24. Okay, fill the host addresses per subnet. Okay, the prefix for fill the host addresses is 27. 27, okay? Okay, the first subnet will be 192.168.1.0 prefix 27. The second is 192.168.1.32 prefix 27. Third, the same, but is 64. 0 plus 32, 32 plus 32. Fourth subnet, 64 plus 32, 96. The fifth subnet, 96 plus 32, 128, prefix 27. Assign the fourth subnet to the IT department LAN. Okay, for this LAN, IT department LAN. The fourth subnet is this. So I will create a table very fast. Okay, here the name, network address, first IP host, last host address, broadcast address. Okay, IT department LAN. IT department LAN. Is this the fourth subnet? This. network address. Okay, all these addresses are network addresses. Okay, assign the last network host address, the highest, in this subnet to gigabit 00 interface on town hall. Okay, here in gigabit 00, assign the last host address, gigabit 00, the last host address of this subnet. Okay, so if network is 96, fields is 97, uh, okay, you know this is the fourth network. The fourth network, if the next network address is 128, the broadcast address is 127, and last host address is 126. Okay, okay, copy this addressing table, Control C, paste. Okay, very good. Assign the last host address in this subnet to gigabit 00 interface on town hall. Okay, here, gigabit 00 on town hall. This last host address. Very good. Starting with the fifth subnet, okay, starting with the fifth subnet the network again, so that the new subnets will provide 14 host addresses per subnet, while wasting the fewest addresses. Okay, start with this and subnet again this 14 hosts addresses per subnet. Okay, for 14 hosts, the prefix is 28. The prefix is 28. So you can do something like this, 51, 192, 168, 128, with use prefix 28. Okay. This supports 14 hosts. Subnet again. 192, 168, plus 16 is 128 plus 16 is 144. Prefix 28. You can create only 2 subnets here, no more. Okay, and assign the second of these new 14 host subnets to the administration LAN. Okay, the second. For administration LAN. Okay, administration LAN. Okay, the second. This is the network address. Network address. If the network address is 144, the first host is 145. 144 plus 16 is 160. So the broadcast address is 159. And last host 158. Okay. Assign the last host address in the administration LAN subnet to the gigabit 01 interface on the town hall router. Here, gigabit 01 last host address. Okay, gigabit 01 last host address on administration LAN is this. Okay. Assign the second to the last address in this subnet to VLAN 1 interface of the administration switch. Okay, here for administration switch, the second to the last host address. If last host address is 158, the second to the last is 157, and use this prefix 28. And obviously you need the default gateway. The default gateway for administration switch is gigabit 01. Gigabit 01 is 158. Configure addresses on the host using any of the remaining addresses in their respective subnets. For reception host, reception and operator, they are placed on IT department LAN. Okay, IP IT department LAN. Okay, the last host address is in use, so you can use the first. The first is available 97 for reception. You can use the second for operator is 98, but using prefix 27. But you need the default gateway. The default gateway for IT department LAN is gigabit 00. (126) for reception, also for operator. Okay, but you need the default gateway for IPv6. Okay. The IPv6 address for hosts already set, but you need to use the gateway and use the gigabit 00 for IT department, gigabit 00. You can use the global unicast or link local. I will use the link local. for reception and operator. Now configure IT host and server. IT host and server placed on administration LAN. Here on administration LAN. Okay, 158 already in use, 157 already in use. So you can use the first host 145 for IT host. Okay, and the second 146 for the server, but with prefix 28. And you know the default gateway for this subnet is IP address of gigabit 01. IP address of gigabit 01, 158. For host and server. And for IPv6, the default gateway, you can use the link local. Okay, now the table is complete. Okay. Configure host addressing, use the IPv4 addressing from step 1 and the IPv6 addressing values provided by the addressing table to configure all host PCs with the correct addressing. Use the router interface link local address as the IPv6 default gateways on the hosts. Okay, use the router interface link local address for IPv6 default gateways. Very nice. Complete the configuration of the server using the IPv4 addressing values from step 1 and the values in the addressing table. Okay, now configure devices, reception host, IP configuration. Is this? Is 97. Okay, now configure the subnet mask. The subnet mask is 27, but decimal is 224. The default gateway 126. 126. IPv6 address, this. Two zero zero one column DB8 column ACAD column A column FF prefix 64. Do not specify the link local address for this PC. Okay, the IPv6 protocol on this interface will configure the link local addresses on these PCs. So the default gateway FEA0 column 1. Okay, and ready. Operator is this. Is 98. Prefix 27. 224. Default gateway 136. IPv6. 15 prefix 64 default gateway FE80 colon 1 IT host ID host is this 145 prefix 28 in decimal prefix 28 is 240 default gateway 158 IPv6 prefix 64 default gateway FE80 colon 1 server 146 prefix 28 240 default gateway 158 IPv6 prefix 64 default gateway FE80 colon 1 ready. Now configure the town hall router. Configure the router with all initial configurations. The host name. Okay, go to town hall, but use the console cable. Okay, console cable. For example, from reception host port RS232 to console port on the router. Go to reception host. Go to terminal. Okay. Enter. Enable. Configure terminal. Hostname. Okay, case sensitive. T uppercase dash H uppercase town dash hall. Enter. Protect the device configurations from unauthorized access with the encrypted privilege exit password. Okay, encrypted privilege exit password. Enable secret and use something like Cisco MPass. Okay, you can use any password. I'm using this Cisco MPass. Secure all access lines into the router using methods covered in the course and labs. All access lines. You have line console and line BTY. Okay, line console 0. There is only one line console, is number 0. Create the password. For example, Cisco Compass. Okay, and don't forget login to permit the access. Now access line BTY, all lines from 0 to 15. Password Cisco BTY pass, for example. Don't forget login. Okay, exit. Now you are on global configuration mode. Okay, exit from line configuration mode and go to global configuration mode and require newly entered passwords to have a minimum length of 10 characters. Security passwords. Min length 10. Okay, security passwords min length 10. Okay, 10 characters for newly entered passwords. Okay, prevent all passwords from being viewed in clear text in device configuration files. Service password dash encryption. Configure the router to only accept in-band management connections over the protocol that is more secure than Telnet. The protocol that is more secure than Telnet is SSH. Use the value of 1024 for encryption key strength. Okay, configure SSH. Okay, the hostname is required on the router. Okay, hostname already configured. Now configure a domain, IP, domain name. For example, cisco.com. Okay, you can use any domain. Now you need to create a username and password. Okay, configure local user authentication for in-band management connections. Create the user with the name netadmin and secret password Cisco underscore CCNA7 case sensitive. Okay, the username netadmin case sensitive secret password secret space Cisco underscore CCNA7. Okay, Cisco underscore CCNA7 case sensitive, my friends. Okay, enter. And maybe for a better version for SSH, IP SSH version 2. SSH version 2. Okay, but for version 2, create the RSA keys. Okay, for use the value 1024 for encryption key strength. Crypto key generate RSA general dash keys modulus 1024. Okay. Crypto key generate RSA general dash keys modulus 1024. Enter. Ready. SSH2 has been enabled. Okay, very good, my friends. Very good. Configure the BTY lines. Okay, line BTY 0 to 15. Line BTY 0 to 15. And transport input SSH to use only SSH. Login local to use the local username, and that's it. Now configure the 2 gigabit Ethernet interfaces using IPv4 addressing values and IPv6 values. Reconfigure the link local addresses to the value shown in the table. Document the interfaces in the configuration file. Use a description. Document the interfaces. In this case, use a description on interfaces. Okay, the table gigabit 00, interface gigabit 00, description, you know, Gigabit 00 is placed on IT department LAN. IT department LAN. You can use any description. This is only for information. Now, the important thing is the IP addresses. IP address 192.168.1.126, prefix 27 to 85 to 85 to 85 to 124, and IPv6 address 201, column DB8, column ACAD, column A, column 1, and prefix 64, 2001, DB8, ACAD. Okay, the subnet is A. For IPv6, the subnet is A because the fourth section is the subnet. 1, 2, 3, 4. The subnet is A. The host or interface is 1. Okay, enter. Don't forget the link local address FEA0::1 link local. Don't forget to enable the interface not shut down. Now I continue with Gigabit 01. Up arrow to repeat previous commands and edit interface Gigabit 01. Description. Administration LAN. Administration LAN. Mm, 158. Prefix 28 is 240. Okay, very good. IPv6 address. The subnet is B, column 1, prefix 64. The same link local address because it's only link local relevant, not shut down. Very nice. And configure the administration switch. Configure administration switch for remote management over Telnet. Do not use SSH, use only Telnet. Configure VLAN 1 as the switch virtual interface. Okay, I will configure administration switch from IT host. Use the console cable from RS232 port to console port. Go to IT host terminal. Okay, and enter. Enable configure terminal. Okay, VLAN 1 on switch virtual interface VLAN 1. You can use a description, for example, administration LAN. Okay, administration LAN. And the IP address. This only for IPv4. IP address 192.168.1.157, prefix 28 to 55 to 55 to 55 to 140. Enter, not shut down. Exit. On global configuration modes, configure the default gateway, IP default dash gateway 192.168.1.158. Okay, but configure for remote management over Telnet. Configure IP before addressing. Okay, ready. Be sure that the switch is able to accept connections from hosts on other networks. That means to use a default gateway, okay, to permit to reach another networks, accept connections from hosts on other networks, but don't forget to configure telnet. You need remote management. Line BTY 0 to 15, all lines, password Cisco BTY, pass, for example, and don't forget login to permit the access, exit. Okay, now verify. Mm, for example, go to reception host, close terminal, open command prompt, and ping the devices. Ping, for example, operator host. Operator host is 98, 192.168.198. Success. Operator with using IPv6 A15 being 2001 column DBA column ACAD column A column 15 15. Okay, very good. And IT department switch is not configured with IP address. It's not required. Ping gigabit 00 is 126 and A1. 126. Okay, very good. Okay, up arrow to repeat previous commands and A column 1. Very good. Ping to gigabit 01. 158 and B column 1. 158 success and B column 1. Very nice. Administration switch 157. Only IPv4 157. Very good. You can repeat. Okay. Success. And IT host and server. IT host 145 and BFF 145. Very good. And IPv6 BFF. Request timeout. Okay, IT host BFF. Review IT host. Close terminal IP configuration. BFF prefix 64. Default gateway. Don't forget to configure IPv6 unicast routing on Town Hall. Go to reception host, Close command prompt, open terminal. Okay, and enter, exit. On global configuration mode, IPv6 dash space unicast dash routing. Unicast dash routing. Very nice. And now repeat the test. Go to reception host. Okay, go to reception host, close terminal, open command prompt, and try again. Ping to BFF, that is IPv6 address of IT host. Very nice. And server 146. Very nice. And finally, IPv6 of server B15. Very nice. Finally, you can test the SSH configuration on Town Hall. Close this, go to Telnet SSH client, use SSH, but don't forget the username and password. Username is netadmin. Netadmin using SSH, and sorry, down here, netadmin. The IP address of the, for example, IP address of gigabit 00. You can use IPv4 or IPv6. I will use IPv6. A:1, connect, and password. Remember this password for SSH Cisco underscore CCNA7. Case sensitive Cisco underscore CCNA7. Enter. Very nice. Town Hall. Enable password. Remember Cisco MPass. Cisco MPass. Very nice. All is working very good. Exit. Now, and you can test the telnet to administration switch. Telnet IP address of the switch 157. Password, remember Cisco BTY pass. Enable and configure and enable on the switch. Okay, and exit. Now go to IT host. Close this. Terminal. Okay. And enter. Enable. Configure terminal. Enable secret. Cisco MPass, for example. Ready. Exit. Ready. And from reception host, use telnet, use the IP address 157, password Cisco BTY pass, enable Cisco MPass. Very nice. Exit. Now. Thank you very much, my friends.